feels so good.
Oh my God, it feels so good.
Feels so good.
Oh my God, it feels so good. Feels so good when you treat me like no other, no other. Feels so good when you call me your lover, your lover. Feels so good, one lucky brother, lucky brother. It feels so good, oh yeah, it feels so good.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Real Recognized Real, the fourth episode of the, I should stop saying episode numbers in the episodes just in case it doesn't come out in that order.
Yeah.
But the hypothetically fourth episode of the Real Recognized Real podcast, aka the Triple R podcast. My name is Nganawe Sishangase, also known as Nganawe Live. And is it just me or is it getting crazy out there?
Hi everyone, my name is Ayanda, also known as Ayanda, and there was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. You know what it is.
You know what to do, guys. Comment down below. Let us know which movies those lines of dialogue are from, or which characters specifically.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who's been participating in our, what's this called? Our icebreaker.
Yeah, icebreaker vibes.
Shout out. We'll come up with a name for what we call this. Shout out to everybody who's been commenting and telling us where the lines of dialogue are from.
It's not a lot, but
yeah, it's not a lot. I mean, but come on, guys, it's for free. Just comment down there. But yeah, welcome back, guys. I would say it's been long. It really hasn't been long for a podcast. Most podcasts take this long to release a new episode. Yeah.
So
Hoping that we release it in time. But before I even proceed further, please follow us on Twitter at I Am The Being.
Oh yeah.
I got suspended on Twitter, guys. I didn't get suspended for anything malicious necessarily. I did break the law, Pela, as far as law goes. But like, I got suspended for a song I posted in 2016, and so I would like for you to go follow me on my new account at Evil Ewanakun.
We'll just put it here so you guys can
put
see
it here. It's basically Nganawe Live, but the other way around.
Yeah, just
literally.
tenet it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nganawe in tenet mode.
Yeah, Nganawe
Nganawe
live.
Live in tenet mode. So
mode.
starting from there, going backwards.
Yep.
Yeah, and we will be putting up a profile, a page for this podcast specifically.
Yeah.
We'll post everything that is real, recognized, real,
and
related.
movies.
And movie related and. Anyways, without any further ado, let us get into it.
The ado was feathered. Yeah, so today we're going to be speaking about one movie and one series, The Underground Railroad and I Am All Girls. So we're going to start with The Underground Railroad, which had Thuso Mbedu, and everyone obviously was watching because, you know, we support our girl, and Nana is just going to lead us and tell us whether he liked it or not. But actually, before we get into whether he liked it or not, I posted on Instagram, I think for me it's important to discuss. First of all, before we even get to enjoy or not enjoy this series, was there a need for it to be made? Your take?
No. Short answer, no. We'll get into the nuances of the no. But hey, guys, I'm so sorry, guys. Hey, I know we all have our things, but hey, was there a need? Really? Really
speaking, really speaking, for me, I don't see that much of a need. But then I was thinking, what if, you know, things get lost and maybe they felt, you know what, to preserve this novel, let us make it a film so that everyone can watch again. But even then, I think for me, my biggest thing was, it's not a new story. So there is nothing new that you can tell about slavery from a black person's perspective that has not been told before. Even if it was fiction, there is nothing new. So for me, that was like, so why then? And even today, I'm still like, why? Because And I just get so annoyed actually now when I watch this thing, especially the first episode. I was like, even if you were... Actually, I'm so annoyed. Let me tell you why. Actually, let me not even...
No, get into it.
No, because he's black, ne?
Who?
Barry
Jenkin.
Barry is black. And
Underground Railroad, Underground Railroad,
yes.
by the way, is by writer director Barry Jenkins.
Yeah.
He made Moonlight. He made If Beale Street Could Talk, among many others.
Dear White People.
Dear White People. Did he make the show or the movie? Because I've seen the movie. I've never seen the show.
Yeah, but he's involved somehow.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. I liked the movie, if I remember, but this was years ago. But I'm gonna say I liked the movie. I think he made the show Dear White People, which is adapted from the movie or from something else. I don't know. Anyway.
So this guy, as you can hear from the titles of his work, he's interested in black trauma. You know, he's interested in telling these stories.
Or rather, let's say black stories for now.
Yeah, he's
because some of these stories, like Dear White People, is not really a traumatic story. It's pro-black. He's very pro-black.
Okay. Yeah. So let me correct myself. He's interested in telling black stories, and as a black person of his age, I would love to believe that he's watched so many and consumed so much traumatic things that he's like, we get the point. And from that understanding, he should also be able to say, even the people that are making this for, they get the point. So if the first episode, when I watched it, I was like, is there need for all this graphic? Like, it was so bad. When I say bad, I mean the graphic was so bad to a point where like, someone is enjoying it out there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it was almost gratuitous. It was definitely gratuitous.
Yeah. So
a lot of people would. If you haven't seen the Underground Railroad, it is a 10-part Amazon series by Barry Jenkins, and it tells the story.
Supposed to be telling the story of following Cora. Yeah, Cora,
yes,
and
played by Thuso Mbedu.
Yeah.
Shout out to Thuso Mbedu.
Yeah. And that guy. It's basically a story telling how slaves used to want to escape back then.
Yes.
You know, when we were watching yesterday, you were even saying, the railroad is not. It's not really a railroad. It's a metaphor. It is a metaphor.
It is a metaphor.
Yes, it is.
I because at some point I was like, okay, this. So what's this? Yeah, that's what it is. It follows this lady named Cora, tries to escape as a slave during slavery, and goes all the way from the south of America, which is Georgia, and ends up all the way in Indiana, using the Underground Railroad for most parts of it.
Yeah.
It's like a version of Django. I'm joking, guys. It's not a version of Django.
Is it not?
I think
Okay, it's fine.
I mean, but for me, I just want to start off by saying I really wanted to like the show.
Okay.
And I don't particularly hate the show.
Okay.
I just have that question, which is why?
Yeah.
Why?
And another thing that I found to be very annoying is there was no need for it to be that long.
So exactly. So that's what I'm saying. My question was why? Many whys. Why? Number one.
Did it have to be told?
Did it have to be told? You know the thing where before you say something, you have to ask yourself the 3 questions. Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? Does this need to be said right now?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around? But it's those 3 questions. Like, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said right now? Does it need to be said by me? Before you proceed to say something. I mean, granted, it does need to be said by him because he's a black filmmaker. He has every right. Does it need to be said?
At this time, 2021.
I don't know, guys. We've consumed so. We don't have a shortage of
this
black trauma stories. Let me not call it black trauma stories. That's not even the biggest problem I have.
I get you.
I was watching it with if it's going to be something about slavery, etc., 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 it should at the very least be offering something that, at least by my perception or perspective, has not been offered before.
Yes.
And beyond the Underground Railroad part of it,
in the book, it is said that the railroad is a metaphor, to show how much the slaves back then were so fed up with this life they didn't mind going to a place they don't even know. That's what they said. The rail is not really the rail. It's just a metaphor for escape. So they made examples like my slave got away, but like got away where? On the rail. The rail is not a real thing. It's just people running away from this life because they were so fed up with it. That's what they explained from the book. So I was explaining, Uguti, I found it to be annoying. That the first episode, it was annoying for me because it was like, why are we being told this thing in this manner, in this day and age? Fine, I forgive, I move on, right? And then it was the thing of, this is a story of Korra. Obviously, I know it's not his fault because the book was however it was, so he took from the book to make what he made. But
I mean, he could have changed.
He could have, yeah. I mean, he could have. And I found Korra to be very not used. Like, I feel like we were led to believe that Korra is gonna be more than what she was in the film, and I was very disappointed with how she was and who she is in the film and everything in between.
With me, my thing is, it's not even what you call this. It's not even a problem of me feeling like we were led to believe that Korra is going to do something.
Yeah.
I guess this is a personal thing, guys. I personally don't like passive protagonists or passive lead characters. In my films, in my stories, I like, you know, some protagonizing. Protagonize a bit. And if you're a passive protagonist where things are happening to you and everything is happening to you, and you're more like an observer in your own life, because that really does happen, and you know, great stories do come from that. Can shit happen then?
Yeah.
Because for me, things were happening in this film, in this series.
Which was supposed to be a film,
but man, we were taking so long to get to the point. First of all, I don't understand why we needed to take 10 episodes to get to where we got. An hour per episode.
Oh yeah.
Not even an hour, above an hour.
At some point,
8 episodes were above an hour. One was 44 minutes, one was 19 minutes.
Yes.
And I'm like, but guys, you were able to do it in 19 minutes, fine. The 19 minutes one I'll let go of, because it was just focusing on that specific character.
Why?
Yeah. But the other ones, guys, you could have easily chopped these down to 50 minutes, 40-something minutes, 50 minutes, 40-something minutes. Condense this down to like 8 episodes, 9 if you must.
A movie if you can.
You could have even done it in 6 episodes or a 2.5 hour long movie. And I feel like most of this show, the reason probably why, and not even probably, the reason why I didn't enjoy it as much as I'm supposed to enjoy it, and is because it gives me, you know, I'm a firm believer of, as a creator, you know, depending on what you're creating for, but most of the times for entertainment, don't let them rest. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody should do that. No. What I'm saying is, though, don't let me rest so much so that at some point I start asking myself, what's the point of this? There were shots that would go on for so long where at first the shot is mesmerizing and beautiful and it's like, oh, and you feel the emotion of it. But at some point you're like, can we get on with, what's happening?
Yeah, so the shots were lingering too much, and there were also not a whole lot, but there were shots that were very unnecessary. And even the motion of the acting, there were points where it was very slow, where like Korra just spending time looking at her face and nothing is happening. And here's another thing with this series, I think by episode 3 or 2, I can't remember, you sort of figure out what's gonna happen up until like episode 8 or 9. So why are we repeating?
It was episode 2. For me, it was episode 2 when they got to, was it South Carolina?
Oh yes, I remember.
And they kind of have a life a little bit. And I'm like, obviously, this is not gonna last. This is, you know, and then lo and behold, something really does happen. And this is not like a spoil. You can figure that out.
Yeah.
If you're episode 2 and already it's starting to settle down, it's not gonna settle down. Some stuff needs to happen. You still have 8 more episodes to go. But sorry to disturb you. So my biggest problem with it is the fact that, fine, tell whatever story you want to tell in whatever fashion you want to tell it in, but can you not waste time? Because to me, this was a whole waste of time. Usually when I watch a show or a film, even that I didn't want to watch at first, by the time I'm done, I'm like, you know, my life has changed for the better by watching this show or film. And this one I was like, guys, no ways, dog. This should have been like 2 hours.
Yeah, no.
Even if 3 hours, even if you give me a 3 hour long movie, it's fine, man. I'll watch it and get to the point, because a lot of things felt like fillers, and that's my problem with it. It's like listening to a 23 track album, and you know, a good almost 10 of those songs are useless filler songs that really are, you know, don't impact the actual album themselves. And this is what this felt. There were whole episodes where you were like, you know, I mean, I guess the acting, I will say one thing, the acting for me was really good. On Thuso's end, the accent did feel a little bit funny here and there. It did sound a little bit funny here and there, but not so much that I can knock it. You know? It felt like a really good impersonation of a southern accent. But I mean, that's exactly but I don't have too much of a problem with that. The acting, she did what she needed to do. You know,
with what she was given.
With what she was given, she was. In my opinion, if she was given more, she would have been even greater than she already was.
Also, there was a whole lot of time where she was not talking.
Yeah, there was a lot of emotive acting. I don't really have a problem with that necessarily. It's just that what I hated is that during the non-dialogue part of it, it was what I deem unnecessary visuals of it. And then there were just things where you're like, hey, I feel like Amazon gave Barry Jenkins a 10 episode mandate. Like, you have to give us 10 episodes of this show and they have to be an hour each. And hence why you end up getting like really, really useless, what I deem useless shots throughout the whole show, where you're like, I'm sure we could have communicated this effectively, and it would have been a stronger show had it been shorter. 6 episodes, 7 episodes, 8 episodes, if you really must push it, 9 episodes, condense the runtime per episode to like 40 something to 50 something minutes, or just make it a movie, man. Just make it a movie.
I'm also not mad at the acting. Let me see. Thuso was good. That guy was good. What was that guy's name? Jasper. Jasper was good.
Jasper was
that
good,
kid, that annoying kid, he was good as an actor.
Joel Edgerton was great as a slave catcher, in my opinion. Probably my best performance of the show.
Where do we know him from?
We know him from a lot of things. The Gift, Gordo the Weirdo. He was Gordo the Weirdo in The Gift. Okay. There's a bunch of other things that I can't think of at the moment.
It's fine. Yeah, so it's just the things that we have counted. They were a bit unnecessary, and just the thing of.
Sorry, it looked phenomenal though. It looked amazing. It looked really beautiful.
They really came through with the wardrobe,
Yeah.
They made sure. That was amazing. So I don't even know what I was saying, but.
Sorry to mistake.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, guys, I watched it.
We watched it,
We watched it, and for me, and I guess for you also, it was really like, hey, man, you know.
I think for me, it could. If there was a different perspective, I think I was gonna enjoy it so much better. Because towards the end, when they have a vineyard and they have a house and everything. If they did something that has never been done before, it was gonna take it to a higher level than it is right now. Because even when they were there, what's his name? The guy who owns the place.
Brother Mingo.
Yes, Mingo. I felt if they had given him more than what they gave, because what they gave him is something we already know from other black people. So maybe if they had used him differently, just do things differently there, then just take a different direction. Because the fact that only at the end we get to see Mabel the way we see Mabel, and it's like it just felt so out of place, because basically the series was done. It's the same thing that happened with Grace. The series was playing, and then out of the blue, here comes Grace. Grace is gone. Let's carry on. Why do we do it like that? And I also don't like how during the film I felt like Ukora, her mother left her like way earlier than we were shown.
I
did not really understand that.
The dialogue made it feel like Cora Tingley doesn't even know her mother. Like she was young, but not old enough to know or remember her mother. God, no, by the time her mother left,
like she
was fully grown, like to remember what her mother looks like. But I mean, I guess that's just up to interpretation. By the way, the episode 9, I really loved episode 9 is which one? Episode 9 is where Brother Mingo and then they're standing at the church and they're debating, they're trying to get a vote for how to take it forward, how to take the farm forward. That was an amazing episode. I think just as an episode, regardless outside of the show, just it's one of the best episodes of anything.
It was very eventful.
Yeah.
It was eventful also, if you consider the series.
Yeah, not even for me, just as an episode. It's one of the best episodes of a TV show I've ever seen in my life.
Here comes an Emmy.
Yeah, I mean, if it does get nominated for an Emmy, it's definitely going to be for that episode, without a doubt.
I enjoyed Mabel. I
was supposed to say,
I enjoyed Mabel.
Mabel's story. See if maybe we got that. If
in the
maybe
beginning.
the show started there.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. Like, there's so many. I feel like there's so much that could have been done with the show.
A whole lot.
That wasn't done. And granted, sticking to the novel and whatever the novel said, but you don't have to. Stanley Kubrick showed you that you don't have to. You can literally kick the writer of the novel out, hire a new writer, and rewrite this whole thing with that person. I'm talking about The Shining, by the way. But yeah, so Mabel's story was really,
it was
when
amazing.
it came, you're like, this only now we're getting this,
So my thing when it came was, are we still gonna see Cora in this episode? Like, what's gonna happen? I was like, how are they gonna close this off? And they were like, forget about it.
Yeah, so it was that. Another thing is the show really did play on the light skin, dark skin thing. I don't know whether you noticed that. From the guys that she has an interest with, it was first the light skinned guy, then it was the dark skinned guy, then the light skinned guy, and then Brother Mingo and the other.
I definitely noticed.
Thing between light-skinned
I noticed
people
that.
and dark-skinned people. I
I
don't know whether that was a way of addressing colorism. I don't know what it really was trying to say. You guys can tell us what you think that was, but there was a whole motif around light skin and
now
dark
that you say
skin.
that, we'll see.
And they even mentioned Brother Mingo.
He does,
Zubuti. When they look at you, people don't even think that you were once a slave. When they look at me, they can't believe I escaped slavery. Is there anything else?
I don't think there's anything much we have to say, just apart from the fact that it was a beautiful show too. It was a beautifully shot show.
A visually pleasing show.
A visually pleasing show. In terms of the story, I don't want to comment. In terms of the acting, well done to everyone. Kanje, what else did I want to speak? Yeah, I think the story structure, they could have done so much with it. They could have done so much better with it. But yeah, we got what we got and we got to deal with it. So.
Yeah, man. In any case, Barry Jenkins, I think, is a good filmmaker, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is.
I guess maybe my gripe with him, and I'd only say with this show, maybe if Beale Street could talk, is his subject matter is just like, okay, I feel like you're wasting your talents on subject matter that is not important. I don't know. Maybe his talent doesn't shine the best with the subject matter he chooses to tackle. To which, in any case, you can still see that this man is an amazing filmmaker.
So I was about to say, and us saying the stories he chooses to speak on. We're not saying it's wrong to tell those stories. What we're saying is, if you want to retell those stories, then give us a new perspective, because we have literally seen everything. We have heard everything. So if you want to give us that, then make it something new. Give us a different perspective. Give us a new way of looking at things that we've never experienced before. Like, just be new about it.
We're collectively in the internet complaining about black trauma films, etc. Black trauma, what you call this, content, and this is one of the most traumatic. From the first episode. It's extremely traumatic. So my thing is, people always say there's no need for these stories, blah, blah, blah. I'm not necessarily saying there's no need for them. I'm just saying, like you're saying also, if you must, can there be something, can there be something where we're like, okay, we get why. If you want to go check it out, if you haven't checked it out, please go check it out. Be warned though, it is extremely traumatic, especially at the beginning. After that, it kind of, settles down. But trauma only comes back like very late within the show. For most of the show, it's just pretty mellow and just other stuff happening. But first episode, it will really test
you will be rocked.
You will be rocked. You will be tested. And then after that, it's just a bit chilled. Check it out
on Amazon.
Check it out on Amazon. Check it out on Amazon Prime Video. So
we're now moving on to I Am All Girls, which premiered. Is it premiere?
Yeah.
on Friday on Netflix on the, what was the date? Because
Yo, dates are weird these days.
It was on Friday.
14th of May, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was the 14th of May, which is
14th of
Friday.
May.
That was the Friday Netflix movie.
I'm All Girls.
I Am All Girls. It stars Hlubi Mboya. So
It stars Thuso Mbedu.
Yes, it had Nomvelo.
Mvelo
Makhanya.
Makhanya. Well, Nomvelo
Makhanya, yeah.
Yeah, Mvelo Makhanya.
I guess we're being traumatized.
Yeah, this was a traumatic weekend.
In terms of content.
Yeah,
because it's
a traumatic South African weekend, because this side we get a South African film on Netflix, which is trauma based also.
Yeah.
This side we get a
South African
show
lead.
being led by a South African actor,
actress.
which is heavily trauma based. So it's like trauma bonding.
Yeah, we're just trauma bonding. Yeah, so the I Am All Girls is based on a true story. Happened long time ago, and so
inspired by true events, rather.
No, it is based on a real story.
Like
the guy exists. He has his name.
No, I get those parts, but I'm saying like the rest of the plot is not necessarily. I don't believe the cop and everything happened exactly like that.
Okay, no, it is inspired by true events. And so what's happening here is, I'm
sorry to disturb you. One day we'll explore the based on a true story, inspired by true events, all those things.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched it, I'm just gonna spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
Okay, then you explain it, because I can't explain it without spoiling it.
Yeah, I'm All Girls is basically it's a film that is addressing sex trafficking and human trafficking in South Africa, from Fanduka since apartheid days.
Yeah.
And it has a character who is basically on a quest for vengeance or revenge, and then we're led to believe at first that she's the lead character, only later on to realize that someone else is a lead character, which is is she a detective or she's a cop, basically a cop character who is kind of like the lead of the whole show.
Who was very invested in this case for reasons not mentioned to us.
You would be invested too if you're a cop.
No, they made it seem like there's more than meets the eye.
Yeah,
and
so I guess it's not fully justified as to why.
Yes, because besides her saying, I take care of the kids, that was just not enough for the way they put, because they made it seem like she has like a backstory.
Yeah,
she was crying, and I was just like, why?
By the way, so back in the apartheid days, basically this film tries to tell us that there was a person, or many people, but specifically there was a minister who was heavily into sex trafficking in South Africa, and a lot of young girls were trafficked. All races, black, white, you mentioned it. By young girls, I mean preteen even.
Yeah.
Some were sold to the Arabian countries or regions. Some stayed here in South Africa and obviously were used by him. The word used is actually used within the film. And yeah, so it kind of, there's the person who was the middleman who would, I guess, abduct the children and then deliver them to the minister. Well, actually confessed in real life. This is a real thing that actually happened, and but then the apartheid government tried to essentially bury that and cover that. Like his confession was never released to the public. So that film is inspired by those events and that particular character and that particular person, and then another plot, according to our consumption, is created around that, where there's a police or an investigator who tries to, track down the whole thing behind that, while there's also someone who acts like a vigilante on the side. And beyond this, we'd practically be spoiling the film. So
so I want to talk about it without spoiling it. So for me, when it comes to, do we need to know the story? In this particular instance, we do need to hear such stories. We did, and I love the way that they approached it. There are many things that I did not particularly enjoy in terms of how they chose to tell the story. It was, I want to say, sloppy. But like if there's another better word to say sloppy without saying sloppy, I'm using it right now. That's the word I'm using right now.
Yeah.
And there are just so many things that you're like, you know, and it doesn't take away from the fact that it is a story that needs to be told, especially in the manner that it was told. They were very considerate in making sure they don't expose things that we don't need to see. Like you could just figure it out in your head. This is what's happening. Yeah. This is what's happening.
It's not, sorry to disturb you. It's not graphic.
Yeah.
It's not a graphic show as much as it tackles pretty traumatic things. Unlike, and I'm not necessarily knocking the Underground Railroad, where the Underground Railroad you see the graphic actions. With this show you don't really see,
like
even
at
though
all.
it's touching on what's this, sex trafficking and human trafficking, etc. It really doesn't show you any of that.
The worst thing you see is literally a person getting shot in that small fight there by the end. Those are which like you see that every day. But in terms of everything else, like seeing kids going through the most, you don't see that. Your brain will help you. So what was I saying?
You're just saying you have other issues with
other issues that just steer towards being sloppy, but in terms of the story, in terms of everything they were trying to address, I'm pretty chilled with that. And funny, it happened at a time when real cops today are being accused.
So it actually came out at a time where what the film is actually tackling is actually happening in real life in South Africa.
And for me, I think it's a very important thing to speak about. Very dangerous too, but it's a very important thing to speak about because it's happening and people need to be aware. And maybe if we speak about it in such a way that people involved
conscience.
They have some remorseness and just find a way to like, let's not do this. Don't
think that's necessarily the case. That would be the case. But with the film, so once again, like Ryan has already said, this film, in terms of did this need to be said? Yes. In the context of South Africa and whatnot, we don't have many stories or films that actually talk about arguably what is the biggest crime in South Africa, which is, and the most unspoken about crime in South Africa, which is human trafficking and sex trafficking, where a lot of people in high positions are complicit in these crimes. Which leads me to believe that is exactly why this crime is not spoken about. Is because a lot of people in high positions back then and even still now, we only find out these things through Twitter. Where you find out that at OR Tambo people get trafficked all the time, but they bangena go back door and you find out like, oh, cops are in on it. So you find out that these things go higher up. These are crimes that are not just crimes that are committed on a daily by average citizens of the country. Some do, but these are crimes that even high, very powerful people are very implicated in them. Hence why they're hardly ever addressed.
That is very sad.
It's very sad.
That is very sad.
So as a film, I do think it's a very important film. As a story, it's a story that did need to be told. However, obviously, there's still the film aspect of it, the filmic aspect of it,
the filmmaking,
which you did mention, and would see. As a film, it's at the end of the day, you have to be a film. Otherwise, you can be a documentary.
The character development, I don't know whether they just literally paid no attention to it. Like, what was going on?
Like it is. It's not a strong film in my opinion. As a film, forgetting what it's talking about, just as a film. It falls for me on the end of weaker films, not so kind of sloppy films also here and there. The writing is not so strong.
I was supposed to say the writing.
The acting, some of my favorite actors were in the film, and I was just like, man, I'm not sure what's happening.
It's almost like they were given instructions to not say as much. Like what?
Because
the dialogue was not a lot. Even the movements, like it was it slow? What was going on?
Man, like it could have been a better film.
A short film. Just make it a short film. In this case, you could have just made it a short film and everyone was going to be happy because it was dragging for so long, and there are many moments where you're like, there's no need for this. There's no need for this. There's no need for this. Because you've already figured out the whole thing. If you haven't figured out the whole thing, this thing that's happening right now is not gonna contribute to the bigger story. So why?
Yeah, there was a whole boxing montage there.
Hey.
There was look, man, it was, as a film, Shem, I'm not a fan of this film, but as per what it's addressing, I do think it's an important, because that happens. Sometimes a film can be an important film, but it's not great, or it can be a great film, but it's
not
totally
important,
useless. So please take it like that. Everything comes with a duality or a trinity or whatever.
So,
and in the case of this film, important, but not
the way
so
it was
great.
told, not so great.
Not so great of a film. And then there's also how the characters were handled, where like I said, 1 minute you think, okay, there's it, and then you find out there's another protagonist, and then you kind of ask yourself, I ask myself a lot, white savior, why? Like, I don't, and I'm sure, look, I don't know the Donovan, we'll show the filmmaker Donovan. I forgot what the surname is.
It's just, it was very annoying to watch because of how, was she timid? What was going on with that girl? There was something about her that was just not fitting in the film. I don't know whether she was just too timid or the way she chose to act, but it just didn't match the things that she was doing. And I'm gonna blame the director, because you could have directed better, you could have written better. So those things, they really affected how we end up consuming the film, even though, as he had said, whatever is being addressed is very important, and they are trying to raise awareness about that.
Even the whole campaign around the film is based on that.
And I think it's a film that everyone has to watch.
And
even though it's not a really great film.
And then in essence, Vele, that is what this channel is about. That is what the SA Cinema agenda is about. Is we need to get the bad stuff out. I'm not saying this film is a bad film, no, but the point is, people say, oh, is it a good film, is it a bad film, so that I can decide whether I watch it or not. The point is, you need to watch it so that we can eventually eventually get better. If you don't give filmmakers an opportunity to make bad films and get them out of the system so that they can become better filmmakers, they'll never become better filmmakers. That's just how it works. If someone comes in and they mess up the first time and you don't give them an opportunity to get better, they will not get better. So that means the next time you try to go back to them, they're still gonna suck. This doesn't mean this film sucks, but the point is, go watch this
you
film.
definitely have to watch this film, because if there are other filmmakers who've been wanting to tackle such topics, then they'll have an opportunity to do so and do it in a much better way, because this it's fine.
Go watch the film so that the opportunities are still there, so that the critique is there. You guys can watch the film, form your own opinions, and come back and tell us, okay, Mina, here's one. Here's one. Blind supporting, for me, is not necessarily a thing that we should be practicing, because it's misleading. But at the same time, you should you should at least consume something and then form an opinion. Consume it and then come back and say, no, this is not good, blah 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 blah, etc. etc. So we encourage you guys to do that a lot. These are our opinions. They're not any superior than your opinion. So go check the film out yourself. Go check Underground Railroad yourself.
And then let's talk about it on the comments, on Twitter, wherever. I just wanted to say, with regards to the human trafficking thing, it's a good thing they chose to tell the story the way they chose to tell it, and for me, I think it leaves that question, now what? Because I watched it and I was like, I can do everything that I can to make sure with your man, wherever I am, my close people know where I am, but that's not enough,
I guess.
And it becomes a thing of, fine, we are telling these stories, but what is our solution? Because the people we are looking for solutions, they are literally deep within.
I guess the thing is, not everything is going to have an answer. Sometimes the awareness is important. And then at some point, someone will come, or a time will come, or events would have changed in such a way where the importance of the awareness that was raised prior is now yielding certain results. Because you can't say filmmakers, shouldn't make certain films, because then what must be done
about that? I guess the awareness is enough. It's enough.
Because we didn't know the story.
Yeah, we didn't know the story, and now we do.
Yeah, guys. So that's basically about that.
Yeah.
If this episode sounds a bit like a downer, sorry. These are traumatic, stories that we were talking about. In any case, but yeah, go check both of them out. Come back, Miss Piggy. Say if you feel like we didn't hit the nail on the head. Come. Don't be crassy, be classy in the comment section. Say your piece, say what you feel like we missed or what we didn't understand the way we were supposed to understand. We're not omniscient at the end of the day. So yeah, just say your piece and show us a side that we might have missed or whatever the case is. Don't forget to comment with
subscribe also.
Subscribe, please don't play. We reached 700 subscribers. I was suspended, so I couldn't even celebrate 700 subscribers.
Wait, are we not going to 1,000?
We're on 702.3. Why are you exposing the channel like this now?
Okay. Please subscribe, guys. We really want to reach 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we're on 700. Shout out to everybody who subscribed.
Thank you so much.
We're going to 1,000. Hopefully, we reach 1,000 before the end of this year. I hope that we
before
will.
the end of this year.
Yeah, please subscribe, like, comment, share. Please follow at Ayanda being yes, and at Evil Ewanakna.
Let's follow Nganawe Live in reverse.
Nganawe Live, yeah, in reverse.
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically about it, guys. Do we forget anything?
A random movie recommendation.
Oh, I can't think of anything. I genuinely can't think of anything.
Okay, people must just go watch Okja. I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. That's the reason for random movie recommendations.
Yeah, it's Okja.
We don't know why. That's why it's random.
Go
watch Okja, Bong Joon-ho. I think it's on Netflix. It was on Netflix.
Yeah, hopefully it's still there.
OKJA.
Yeah, Okja.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
much,
much,
that's basically about it, guys, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.